Hello.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Mm.
How are you?
Uh, I'm okay. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Mm.
Cool. Thanks for coming, everyone. Oh, that was close.
Had a
Almost clicked a button, it wasn't.
couple.
What?
I've had a couple of drinks. Mm,
Winks, indeed.
indeed.
Mm,
So,
I haven't.
but yeah,
I haven't because I woke up and found your message and kind of went, okay, I did not remember this.
yeah, because last pod you said you reminded me that it was the birthday tradition that we do a drunk pod, but I hadn't any alcohol on hand. I hadn't prepared or anything, so I didn't drink last pod. So I said I would do it the next one. So um,
Indeed.
I'm not going to get sloshed or anything.
No, we'll just
Uh,
get to that point where you have a few choice words to say about minorities.
yeah, perhaps we shall see. I guess. Um, but yeah, what's been happening with you?
Um, I've been on holiday. That's
Yes.
about it. Where for the past week, I've just been not going to work and shit. It's great. Get to play games.
How much longer do you have?
I've got next week off as well. So 2 weeks
Uh,
total.
is this like a paid vacation, or do you just not get paid?
Oh yeah, this is paid vacation. They won't let me take unpaid vacations.
Right.
Like there was last year during the lockdowns when work was getting like really fucking boring.
Mhm.
And I basically said to my boss, I was like, hey, can I just like cut my hours in half during all this? Because I'm
Oh
bored
yes,
shit. Yeah.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
So, and they're basically like, no, you have 120 hours of annual leave owed. Like, we're not letting you get out of here for free.
Mm.
Which was very interesting in the sense of like, um, oh yeah, I said it all before back then, but it's like boss talking about how he had to take out like a $2 million loan during all this to like make sure everyone gets paid. It's like, dude, I'm offering you the golden fucking ticket here. Like, I'm literally saying, just don't pay me while there's nothing to fucking do.
Yeah, but I guess it's probably contravening some labor law or something like that. Plus, um, your PTO is probably like an exposure for them, so
I mean, I don't know. I
they
don't
want
know
to
why it
reduce
would
it.
be like. Wait, what do you mean by exposure?
Well, like they probably have to. Okay, I should preface this by the I've never had a proper job in my life, so this is all my theoretical knowledge of the system in the UK, at least. But
Oh, yeah, I've also said the system in the
if
UK is fucking dog shit.
yeah, yeah, I remember my mother a lot having to take 2 weeks off at the end of the year because if she didn't, it would all just be
Yeah,
wiped.
it's very much a you use it or lose it situation over there.
Yeah,
It was
but
apparently
they probably
it was apparently different last 2020. Because I remember my girlfriend talking about this, how like they kind of wavered the you lose it, you use it or you lose it situation in 2020. So if you did, because
Mm.
obviously everyone's plans were fucked, like, oh, we'll be fine by next year, except we
Yeah.
didn't. But what ended up happening is she had basically like 6 weeks of leave
Mm.
between 2020 and 2021 that she's kind of struggling to use up now. Like it stops being a thing at the end of the tax year, I think it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. April.
yeah, so
Yeah.
she's got like the next 2 months to burn through like a month of leave.
Yeah, but like the problem, of course, with that is that what my mother always found was that she had to take it, but she was working in a very high pressure environment where if you're not in, somebody has to take that work. So there was like a pressure, like an internal pressure on the team that if somebody's off or if somebody's sick, everybody's already behind on the work because they're always understaffed, underpaid. So you're kind of like
Yeah.
putting other people out if you're off. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and she's struggling with it now also because like everyone else in her, like they could roughly cover for her, has kind of just quit because they realize the
yeah,
job's shit. So yeah, this one's like, I'm just saying like, dude, just take a fucking month off. It's like, no, because I need to do like payroll or some shit every other fucking
mm,
week, and just yeah.
yeah. I've been asked by Manlet to dedicate this episode to Ling Ling of Bing Chilling, the brave Chinese fighters of Catalonia. So that's who
I'm
this
assuming
episode is
this is
dedicated to.
more Crusader Kings nonsense.
Yeah, in our recent playthrough, I with Royal
What
Court, I decided
what's
to
this
make
owl
my
shit? This has really been an owl shit. This has always been a sleepy and a manlet thing. Because I've seen a
I
lot more people playing it.
yeah I'm I do enjoy Crusader Kings, but I'm typically a solo player. But uh,
Yeah,
everybody's been so hyped about the new expansion. Um, yeah, I was just feeling it. So I started to save, and we all took duchies in southern France, and so I took Catalonia, but you can change the ethnicity, so I made them all Chinese. Um, and like you can now name your cities and name your duchy, like your counties. So I changed everything to like Wuhan Wet Market and um, Hong Kong and all that. And
mm,
uh, yeah, my eldest daughter Ling Ling was tragically taken from me. Uh,
oh, what got her?
um, she went on a play date and drowned. Um,
Oh, what a fucking
so
useless kid.
yeah, so Gong Shina had to take over. Um, and Something Wong um, was like my guy for marrying Manlet's dynasty.
I see you.
And I think Bing Bong was who I married Sleepy.
I see you've
Yeah.
taken a very like specific trend with your naming conventions.
Yes. My grandson Holy Fook. Yeah,
I will say, marginally better than fucking Sleepy and Manlets. I did make a meme
yeah.
about this last night.
I saw. Was this
Yes, because King
the
Louis, Kevin Giga Chungus, Tepe Reeves, Chad the Fourth isn't funny.
on the brilliant I'm not hungry Undertaker template.
Yes.
Uh,
Where,
that's a blast from the
yeah, I'm
past.
glad Manlet posted the original one because I felt it was worthy to have it like not even fully cover the original meme and just have like the tail end of
Yeah,
Undertaker
yeah.
just sticking out the side.
God, it's so you can see that I was working with paint and I didn't know how to work it. So I've got the white bar and then the I'm not hungry and then just the autofill speech bubble around it. I didn't even try and make it fit or
No. Mine was literally just like cropping out the face, flipping the mouth upside down, and then putting the text box and just scribbling behind it, actually. I couldn't get a
Mm.
fucking text box or anything in GIMP. So it's just,
Oh
well,
yeah,
not
so
text box, like a background for it. At least not easily,
yeah.
so it's literally just like scribbling behind it so that it's got like a white background.
Well, it's one of those things that it's funny if you're there, but if you're not there, then it's yeah, it's
It,
a kid called Bozo, haha. But when you're there and you're like, oh no, Bozo, like, and you see the reaction of their kids dying, it's a lot more humorous.
I also have to follow us up with another question. Did you add like a nudity mod or something?
I was clowned on because I had a beautiful females mod.
Yeah, that might
And
be it. Cause I'm like looking at the screenshot that you post just below the meme, and like that's a pretty stunning body for what I expect out of Crusader Kings.
oh, no, that's not mine. Um, no, that I don't know what mods that person has. That's a like a glitch. It's why all the heads are
Well,
very
the heads
weird.
are kind of what I expect out of fucking Crusader Kings. But
They shouldn't be that scuffed. That's
well,
the
then
thing.
then again, like
Like,
my baseline is whatever the fuck shit Manlet and Sleepy cook up. But yeah, just
yeah.
looking at the bodies, I'm like, the naked part aside, because I'm not entirely gonna rule that out for Crusader Kings. I mean, when you got child marriage and incest, like anything's fucking possible.
Mm.
But I'm just like they're very attractive bodies, more than I'd expect out of Crusader Kings.
Yeah, I mean, this person might have mods, but
And
yeah,
in fact, if you scroll up, you can find a screenshot from Manlet that has a naked body of it in it of a woman. And aside from the leaf, covering the crotch, it's a much more average
yeah,
looking body. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
not a model. I'll post this
Mm,
screenshot in podcast.
yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I don't know. I must say, like the mod I have is just because um. Well, yeah, I mean, I won't apologize for wanting the female characters to be typically slightly more attractive. But
Oh,
sorry, as far as I know, it's only a face thing. Um,
per-
so I have no idea if they're like just stock attractive bodies because if you have like a male character and you give him like the beautiful congenital trait, like it changes their entire face and cheekbone structure to be like conventionally beautiful. Like it makes their skin a lot smoother, their cheekbones higher, symmetry, things like that. So, um, I don't know if that's the female equivalent and they just have bodies like that, or if it's a specific mod. Um, I'm not sure. Um,
an excellent question if there ever was one.
Indeed, we should
Oh,
investigate.
you should. I don't want to spend $60 trying to buy this fucking game.
All right, fair enough. Um,
Damn, wait,
but
it came out. Oh, September 2020. Man, time's fucking flown. I don't like
I
this.
know, right? Yeah,
Excuse me.
it feels like it was New Year's just like last week, but
Oh, that as
uh,
well. But I mean, I've said it in some places, but like, it's hard to just get a grasp of time when it still feels like 2020.
yeah. Mm,
I don't know if that's a pandemic thing or that's just like we've kind of hit the new milestone in that can't quite fathom like how long ago things were.
mm,
You know, like you remember how all through the 2010s you were thinking like 5 years ago would have been like 2003 or something.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a few years younger than you,
Yeah.
so maybe I just haven't reached that point.
I mean, it's
Um,
not necessarily a matter of being just old. Like this is like it was just a phenomenon even back when I was your age and
mm,
younger. Just the where like the past previous decade doesn't feel that long ago,
yeah.
and you'll still be on like the arse end of the decade you're in, and you're still like, yeah, 2007 wasn't that long ago.
I definitely feel like because of, I don't know, circumstances growing up, um, I don't really have much attachment to things before like, 2009 and before. But it has been a bit weird for the past couple of years. Like, oh yeah, a decade ago. Like I can clearly remember that. I remember how my house looked 10 years ago. I remember, you know, doing this thing. I remember being on my stairs playing Guitar Hero on my Nintendo DS. Like 10 years ago today. It's
Now you
um
can't find a fucking Guitar Hero controller worth a fuck.
yeah. So I definitely I'm starting to feel that. Most definitely. Um,
I mean, I the one that always gets it for me is just music in general. Yeah, like whenever I'm walking past, like, or even just the radio, sometimes you're listening to like Katy Perry's like debut singles and shit. And you're like,
yeah,
damn, she's had a career for fucking like 15 years now.
yeah. I had that with Taylor Swift "Shake It Off,"
Yeah, that
and
was almost a fucking decade ago now.
yeah, yeah. I distinctly remember like me and a friend at like secondary school, like becoming closer friends because we both thought "Shake It Off" was a banger. And we refused to cow to peer pressure when it was on like the school radio speakers. And
Exactly.
yeah, and I was like, holy fuck, yeah, that was like 8 years ago. What the fuck?
It's one of those scary things you realize, and I don't want to pull a full Stefan Molyneux on this, but she's got a like Taylor Swift's in her mid 30s or something now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's got to be. Shit. Yeah.
She's 32.
Huh. Okay.
Like time's ticking, man, and she still hasn't settled down.
Like, one thing I feel is like with this like footballers, where I remember when I got back into football, it was like, oh, cool, that's a guy who's like my age, and
Yeah,
now
and he's worth
like
millions. What are you doing with your
yeah.
life?
Whereas now, I remember like last month during the transfer window, they were like, "Yes, it's time for some club to move their player on because he's had a long tenure at the club,
Of three
but they need to bring in
years.
younger talent, and he's my age. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm no longer like, oh, the young upstart rookie. Now I'm like people who are firmly entrenched in the system and are getting closer to veterans. Um, I should say for like Americans, this is more of a football thing because in America you play in college, so most new players are like 22 or something.
Yeah,
Whereas in the
I
UK,
guess there's the question I have to ask because you'd know it. Like, so as the news reported, Tom Brady retired recently, and he was
yes,
like 45 or something, right?
yeah, yeah.
So how much of an exceptional circumstance is that? for you guys?
In football,
Yeah. Well, in
um,
American football, of like still running around in your mid 40s, especially in a
yeah,
sport
like
like that.
it very much depends. Like, in terms of American football, so I should say that I was really into the NFL from like ages 15 to 19. And now I'm kind of like, now I'm in the moment where I'm like, I'll watch the Super Bowl. Like, I watched the final game of the season, and that's pretty much it. Um, and I was a Patriots fan. Um, so I'm well acquainted with Tom Brady. In fact, I made a bet on the old server that I would post pictures of my ass if the Patriots came back from that 28-3 and the Patriots did come back, and I never posted pics of my ass. It's a great blemish. I totally reneged on that.
Great
Um,
dishonor.
yeah. um, but yeah, like for a quarterback, I think he is one of the oldest, but positions like that where there's a lot more protection around them. I'm not an expert, but um, positions like that in American football, um,
It,
where the quarterback isn't hit as
yeah.
hard and
So
things like that.
as someone who does, but running off like everything that I know from like movies. The
Mm,
idea of the quarterback is that guy that sits behind the guy who grabs the ball so he can throw the ball so that someone else can
yeah,
grab it.
yeah,
That's his
yeah,
job.
yeah, exactly.
So unless he
Yeah,
throws his fucking shoulder out, which honestly really fucking likely,
yeah. Or he gets hit. You know, his defensive line doesn't do a good enough job protecting him, or he holds onto the ball too long, or he decides to run with it and gets injured. But yeah, it used to be, as far as I know, about 30 years ago, it was like fair game to just do whatever you wanted to the enemy quarterback. Now there's a lot more of this culture of, okay, if you fuck up our quarterback hard, we'll fuck up your one hard. So there's a lot
jokes
more of
on you,
this.
we only had like 200 grand for the quarterback, so he's
Yeah,
shit anyway.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. Like hard hits obviously like still happen, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's not as bad as apparently what it was like 30, 40 years ago. But still, like playing 45 is an achievement because typically the curve is like 35, and then they're depending on fitness and things. You know, somebody might be able to eke out a middling sort of end of their career to maybe 40, 41. Winning a Super Bowl at like 43, 44 is, yeah, it's a tremendous achievement. Um,
Yeah, because I
but
mean,
like
as far as like the New Zealand equivalent, I'm looking at some of the, at least the most renowned like rugby players we've had during my existence of being conscious, and like they even dropped off in their mid 30s.
yeah, yeah, that's. I mean, it's different for certain positions. Like baseball pitchers can go until they're like 47, 48. You know, whereas like in
Well, they
soccer,
can now, is much less like heart disease from steroid abuse.
yeah, fair enough. But like association football players, um, the it's so competitive and um there's so many people that like nowadays it's like once you hit 30, you're an aging veteran, and like if you're still playing at like 34, 30, I mean like the two big exceptions are Ronaldo and Messi. If I put in like Messi age, yeah, Messi's 34, and he's been like a dominant player for 20 years, and he's criticized for getting older and whatever. You know, Ronaldo was 37. Um, and these are players who take a lot of care to keep up their careers and shit. So it's yeah, it's different in different sports. And yeah, you can still be playing football at like 40, but you'll be playing at lower leagues, whatever. Whereas like 50 years ago, you had like fat guys who were at the top level. I remember seeing footage of like Newcastle in like the 70s and 80s, and they had players with like beer bellies and shit. And it was the thing that like in the 50s and the 60s, after the game, the players would go to the pub. And there's a pub right next to the stadium called the Strawberry, and that would be where the players would go, and they'd get a pint. And if you wanted to talk to them, none of this, atting them on Twitter or Instagram or
Was there
shit
also
like
the
that. You just went to the pub and bought them a drink.
was there also like the phenomenon back then where there was basically just no fucking money in it?
Yeah. Well, it's
Because there's two parts to that in the sense of like when there's a shitload of money in it, one, you're kind of there's kind of like the unwritten rule you're paid to try and like be at your peak.
yeah,
Two, there's a massive amount of fucking infrastructure around you at that point.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you're gonna have your dietitians, your like specialists, whatever, fucking labs and things. Like sports
Well,
science is a very real field. And it's a
yeah,
field that
yeah.
governments put a lot of fucking money into.
Well, the thing is with football, as in international football, um, it's a very traditional game. Like, the NFL has used video footage, like replay footage, for decades. Same with Major League, same with all the American sports. For football, it was 2018 was where video footage was finally kind of put in. Premier League didn't get till 2020. Um, to answer your question, it's sort of simultaneously like the guy in the shirt on the pitch will make, in something like the 50s, will make like double or triple the average salary in the area. He will be more. He is getting paid
He's got
more.
the funds to actually be dedicated to this.
Sort of. Yeah. But like you gotta remember this is sort of the time where a tradesman is earning the equivalent of, £100 a week or something. So the
Yeah, but he can
footballer might
still
be getting paid
yeah, but
three.
he can still like buy a fucking house.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, if you had money, pretty much anybody could. It's one of those weird things where when you start to convert the economy like 70 years ago, it does start getting a bit like harder to find the parallels. But yeah, like a good football, but it depends on what level you were at. It was like, okay, if you were playing in the first division, like what is the Premier League now, like yeah, the player would be making 4 times as much. Um, but if you're in the second division or the third division, he'll be making as much. If it's the fourth division, he'll still be a tradesman. In fact, plenty of high level clubs at this time, were somewhat part time, where you know players might make their salary by playing and then also make their salary by working 5 days a week.
Yeah,
That
well,
was a
that's
thing.
kind of the vision I've got of it because that's sort of how it was here, at least with rugby. Like the All Blacks that put New Zealand as a nation to be like feared in rugby were
Mm,
farmers, you know,
yeah.
and then rugby was just a fucking hobby.
Mm,
You'd work and then on the weekend you just go play the fucking game.
yeah. I mean that's how it was in like the 1800s. Um, And it was the big thing of the professional. Like, okay, do you know the I mean, you're in New Zealand, so you're one of the few countries that might know this actually. Um, you know that there's two different types of rugby, right? Rugby league and rugby union.
Yes.
The reason why that happened was so there was this meeting at a pub in like the 1850s on the rules of football, and the prevailing wisdom of most of the people at that thing was that you shouldn't be able to hold the ball with your hands. So the guys who disagreed with that split off, and that was the difference between association football and rugby football. That is where that came from. Um, and then rugby had a split in professionalism. Um, they basically in England, the teams in the south, and this is the exact same for like association, kicky ball football as well, soccer football, but the teams in the south around the wealthy areas um, saw it as a hobby, saw it as building character. They made enough money that they didn't want it, whereas people in the north had to take time off their factory jobs. They needed that money. Um, and so there was a union made that excluded um, teams that would pay money, and that was the rugby union. And so the northern teams continued to play, and that's rugby league. And rule differences, to make it rugby league is slightly simplified so that the layman could understand it better, and that's why there's a difference. Between them. So it all comes from this paying money and stuff. The thing with association football was that until like the Premier League, until the 80s and 90s, there wasn't really the international um, aspect of people moving countries and going to clubs. Like George Best was like a Liberian um, who moved to the UK. But he moved for immigration reasons, and he was a good footballer, and so he played in England and became an England household name. People didn't, it was very much a product of the 80s and 90s and 2000s. That's like, oh yeah, 15-year-old Brazilians will move to Spain and join the academy and be paid lots of money. Like, that's not how it was. So these footballers were high paid, in England compared to the other people at the pub. They'll be making double or triple, but they weren't competing against everyone in the world, um, like they do now. Like the current rule in the Premier League is that teams have to have 1/3 of their players be English. Like they have to have a third. So of a team of 25 players, 8 of them have to be English.
And you can
And
bet
if
your ass only 8 of them are English.
exactly, that's what I was gonna say. Exactly, if teams could get away with getting less, because sure there might be English players are more expensive because teams have to have English players, so other teams know they can sell them for more money, because if you don't, then you're in violation of the rules and you can't play. So most, they want Brazilians, they want Japanese, they want Italians, they want anyone they can get. Um,
They
because at
want
this point,
small people that can, like, get out of the way.
or they just want people who are really good. And yeah, now you're competing against everyone in the world. And American sports still kind of has that exclusivity. Baseball, you have a lot of Central American countries who also play baseball, and Japan, Japan and Korea. Hockey, you have Canada and Russia. Um, Basketball, you do have like Croatia and stuff, and a bit from China. But American football is, you have like a couple of British players in it, and every so often like a naturalized international, but it's very much a very American game.
Yeah, because it's
So,
retarded.
eh, I'm a believer of once you understand any sport, it's inherently interesting. But that
I'm
is
of
if
the
I
belief I
guess
don't want to understand any sport.
fair enough.
The only reason I know the little I do about rugby is just so that I don't get like my immigration papers checked every 5 fucking minutes
Oh
because I
yeah,
don't have any
like
because I was born here.
even when I wasn't into sports, I still had to. Yeah, you got to keep up with like your team and stuff because yeah, like it's one of those things where if like I'm ever in a taxi and I've got to make small talk, it is always just you doing all right, having a good day. You see the match, like
Nah, I'm fucking working.
we're doing.
Fuck's wrong with you?
uh, um, but I so shall we
Shall we go to the
what do you want to
bedroom?
talk about? What?
What?
What do you want to talk about?
Uh,
Um,
I don't know. I mean, obviously there's the. I mean, now that we've bored everyone to death with the football talk, do you want to talk about house?
yes.
So you've finished
Sure,
it.
sure. I did, and I want to say like fuck Sleepy first of all. Like, man took 2.5, 3 months to finish The Sopranos. Bitch, I finished House in 16 days. A man can binge watch. Yes, I put my entire life on hold and didn't do anything else that whole time, and have fucked my sleep schedule up massively because I couldn't stop watching. But that's how you binge watch, baby. I averaged a season every 2 days.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fucking horrifying.
yeah,
It took me like
yeah.
3, 4. I don't. I think it took me like either like 3 or 6 months or something. All I remember is that like by the time I finished, I am like incredibly far behind on anime to watch.
I mean, I just spent, you know, um, God, quite a bit of time. I can't deny that, but like I would get home at like 6, and I would put House on, and I would go to sleep at like 2. Like, you know, I was pretty like I wasn't only watching House. I was doing other small shit as well, but um. Yeah, and then on my days off, I mean, no, I wasn't watching like 8 hours on my days on. I was watching less, but on my on the weekend, yeah, I could sit down and just watch like 12 hours of House across a day. Because I couldn't stop watching. I'd be doing something else. I was like, fuck, I want to watch House though. Like, I need to know, how misophonia isn't the problem in this case. Like, fuck. Um, I need to watch Foreman suggest a fungal infection for the 60th time. Like, I can't live if I don't see it. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I have finished. I know all the characters. I know all the plots and stuff.
yeah,
So I mean, do you have anything you want to ask me first?
um, not really. I mean, like, did you have a favorite case or?
Um,
It's a really shit question. I didn't think this far ahead.
I liked the locked in one. Um, where like the first 15 minutes were just like a first person perspective of the guy who couldn't move. Um,
I
I like that
I
one.
vaguely remember
Um,
that one.
yeah, I liked the one like in season one or season two where House is teaching and there's like multiple. Like he's talking about, I think it's 3 different
Yeah, that's a
patients.
very nice episode. I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And there's one later on. That's kind of like. Oh, I liked the one with the building blowing up as well. And
Oh, the mistaken
uh,
identity one.
yeah, that
We'll
one.
also
Yeah.
say at this point, spoilers. Um, if you have any intention of watching House, just stop watching this episode. I don't know.
um,
Maybe when we're done, I'll clap and then like use that as a sound cue to like add a timestamp to like skip to this point.
I'll try and remind you to.
All
Yeah.
right. Although knowing our
Um,
fucking luck, we're gonna like finish. We're gonna make the timestamp. Then we're gonna talk about something else. We're gonna go back to fucking House.
everything is a tangent of a tangent. Oh. But yeah, like I cared a lot more about the overarching plots, I guess, but it was definitely
Hopefully
like
that's the point. Yeah.
like there were some things I found really compelling and some things I just didn't. Um, like all right, I guess if we're gonna jump into like. See, I don't know what like the prevailing house community or house perspective is. I just
I
know
think the prevailing,
you watch
I think the
House.
prevailing perspective is, oh my god, he's an asshole and he's literally me. But that's not just me. That's like everyone I know who's like a fan of House.
Yeah. Like,
It's
oh yeah, he sees it how it is, like that tier. I will
more
say,
of
like, I
just like, oh
fucking
my god, like he is the like mainstream example of the INTJ personality type, and it's beautiful.
yeah. I will say, fuck. I hated season 7. Like, that was the only sort of little gully I had of like where I like stopped watching for a day. Was just because I didn't like the character in it. And I fucking hated House and Cuddy's relationship. Like I wasn't on board for anything there, so that was definitely a low point for me.
Oh, I will say,
Um
like slight disclaimer, even though it's been a year now, like I've a lot of it is missing in my brain of like what parts go where.
yeah. So it was the one with House and Cuddy finally get together. Season ends with House driving a car into her
I do
house.
remember that
Oh,
part.
yeah. And the person in it is the really intelligent girl who always has to tell the truth and shit. Which I just found to be a really like not a compelling character at all because she just doesn't change her view and she even says like I would have let him die rather than lie to him. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait,
Like the
what? Who?
entire point of the show. Um, I don't know her name. Um, let me. House Woman season 7. um,
Also, post
what's
pictures,
that?
please. Are you talking about the
Uh,
Asian girl?
no, that's season 8. Um, yeah, this woman. Save Rich House/7. Podcast. Upload file. Yeah. Oh, Amber. This girl.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
forgot about her.
yeah. Like she was so not compelling at all. Like, if I would have found it interesting if like her arc forced her to change or whatever, but it was the fact that she didn't change and her principles weren't really hers, and that they were like immalleable. She like stuck to them, despite the evidence that like, yes, if you don't follow it, you get to save their life. If you do follow it, they die. And she just goes, "Oh yeah, like, oh my god, I can't believe you were right. Yeah, I would have let them die. Oh, next episode, I'm going to do the exact same thing." Um, so there was just nothing
I mean,
there.
that's
So
just
I didn't
that's
like
the
her.
age-old discussion of the fucking Hippocratic Oath, isn't it?
Sure, yeah. I'm trying not to say like oh, house lying was like right, but like if you're telling me that a doctor isn't going to have like a reaction to the fact that she would have killed someone and it's directly confronted with somebody doing the wrong thing in their view but saving the patient, and she knows that and she says that, how does that not force her to at least somewhat consider her position and not in the next episode just immediately go back to the same thing? Like, that's what I just didn't find compelling at all with her. Um, the Asian girl was forgettable. Like, nah, I didn't really like her. But I found her voice really grating. She sounds like those offline TV Among Us people. Um, like the voice in the same high tone, never changing. Like the fucking anime voice. I just didn't like her. But the prison chick I liked because
He's cute.
I mean she was fine. Yeah, she was fine. So.
Yeah, they do have a lot of attractive women in this show.
Yeah. Speaking of 13,
Yes,
um, yeah, I don't know. I liked her at first, but um, I don't know. I felt the character just kind of like, haha, she's dying. Like, okay.
YOLO.
Um, and yeah, I definitely found like House at times being like it was literally haha black man, haha lesbian, haha religion is bad, haha like Wilson shut up. Oh, I've solved it. Like um it's like I started predicting every episode where House, would get that look where he's like talking to somebody or is like ignoring somebody and the realization comes and he looks in the distance for a while and the camera zooms in and then he just walks off without saying a word. Um at least in the later episodes they acknowledge it with like Wilson always going, "You're gonna walk off now, aren't you?"
Yep.
It's like, yeah. Um I do love my boy Wilson. I do. Uh I should say I watched Dead Poet Society as well, which was the breakout film for the actor who plays Wilson. Um,
I did not because I think poetry's fucking gay.
it's a little gay, but yeah, Dead Poet Society spoilers for a 34-year-old film. Um, uh, yeah, he kills himself in the film because his dad won't let him act. Um, but um,
I don't know why
in
that's so funny.
but like there's a reference in the final episode to Dead Poet Society. Um, I can't remember what it was, but there's a reference.
There's actually a lot of references in this that I don't fucking get.
I couldn't believe that the fucking Pokemon reference where fucking House just drops a hard Arceus. Like what the fuck? I guess the timing is helped in the way that the Pokemon Legends Arceus game just came out like on our birthday. So, um, but yeah, just even House just fucking say Arceus in like a season of like 10 years ago is just like what? Like what? I had to like search it up. Like, wait, did he actually mean? And yeah, he did. Like, it is actually Because if it was the Greek, he would have said Archaeus, or Archaeus. But the writers confirmed that he was making a sick Pokemon reference
And it was
because religion is like
and it
Pokemon.
was completely fucking lost on me.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, I like Wilson. I like Chase.
Yes.
I like Taub, the Jew.
Yes.
Um, I honestly, I kind of liked Cameron. So
I'll be honest, I
Cameron
actually
was
didn't really like Talbot that much.
really.
I thought his marriage.
That's kind of why I liked
I
him.
think his
Like,
marriage fucking sucked.
yeah, that's why I liked it. Like, I found Taub to be a very not relatable in the like, oh my god, it's literally me, but like relatable in the sense of kind of like how I like Wilson, where Wilson is like morally sort of the good person to House's bad person, but Wilson openly admits to cheating on every significant other he had and like ruining his marriages. Like he's not like a conventional good person, but he comes across as it. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that he's just a flawed human being.
I think what you're trying to
I
say
very
is
much
that the two Jews are very scheming.
is Wilson Jewish?
Yes.
Oh shit!
Wilson, Cuddy, Taub. It's
Damn,
it's
they
it's
really
it's
do control everything.
yeah,
Fuck.
they control the entire medical system. Except for House.
um.
The Englishman pretending to be an American.
So yeah, like Taub I knew and Cuddy I knew from the context of like she had like a Jew thing going on, but like uh
And her
I guess
voice.
Linkin Park, yeah, but it's just Wilson. The name Wilson isn't a Jewish name, and I know when historically Jews did change their names, but uh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that they point out. I remember. I think there's a time where he's actually wearing a fucking yarmulke.
yeah, but so does Chase, where and he's not Jewish.
No,
He wears it because he's at the ceremony.
maybe. I don't know.
But no, I'm not saying you're
Yeah,
wrong. It's like I'm getting some vague memory of like, oh yeah, maybe he is, but
I think the other one was that
yeah,
him eating like the time honored American Jewish tradition of eating Chinese food on Christmas. I think
yeah.
that also has something to do with it.
But yeah, I like I like Tao because I found him funny and yeah, I don't just want a good person, you know. I saw his things like I found Foreman to be a bit boring, but whatever. 13 got boring for me. Um, it was 8 episodes. 8 episodes from the first team, like from the new team being introduced to lesbian sex scene with Olivia Wilde. 8 episodes. That was how long they lasted. Um, but yeah, you know, she's hot. The character was compelling at the start, but I don't know, they didn't really develop it. And there's only so many times House can say, haha, you are going to die, before it's like, okay. um, who else? I loved Kuttner. Um, um, I'm sad. I'm sad he
I,
died.
I mean, it took me off guard because I didn't. Again, there's this fun thing where I come in here and there's this weird context to everything, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh, that's why he was killed off. Like, because it was just so fucking sudden.
yeah. So I actually did search it up, and I was right in a way, but um, of course I hadn't seen House, and I only knew of his political career from Designated Survivor, which was a show after the presidency he did. So that's how I knew him, but I didn't know his actual shit. So I searched it up, and yeah, basically yeah, he had to go because he got a job from Obama, and he needed to yeah, they needed to kill him off, and they thought, oh, it'll be a thing that happens is doctors killing themselves. So why don't we bring attention to that thing? But it was just handled so poorly, and his name's never mentioned. Like five episodes after it's happened, he's just never mentioned again until like the final episode where he's just brought up with that Wilson's girlfriend,
Amber.
psycho bitch. Yeah. What was her name?
Amber.
No. I mean, like her nickname. Like, it wasn't psycho bitch, but it was like something bitch.
Blondie bitch. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I liked her. I like the episode where she got murked. Actually, that was like a good episode of him doing the Vicodin trip.
It wasn't so much an
Um,
episode, but rather than a like trans-seasonal fucking thing. Again, that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
point where that writer's strike happened.
um, ooh. There's just a lot of like I liked Cuddy in the like first two seasons, but her character just doesn't develop at all. And then by the end, I think their relationship was like the worst, one of the worst television relationships I've ever seen. There was just nothing there for me. It was just how screws up, but like comes to realization, and then next episode he screws up again, and the driving the thing, and then her just never coming back. It was just bad. Like, there's no other way I can say it. Like,
I will
it
say
sort of.
I like the part before the relationship. Like the moment where he's absolutely utterly tripping fucking balls while he thinks he's sober.
Uh. Oh, like Oh yeah, with like the lipstick and
Yeah.
shit. But it's actually yeah. Um.
Especially the point where he stands up. I forget if it was part of that arc or another part where he just stands up in like the foyer of the hospital and it's like, I fucked her. When it
Yeah, it was that
totally
arc.
didn't
Yeah.
happen. And it's
Yeah.
uh,
Um.
I think it was interesting, as well as kind of interesting. It was more interesting than the relationship, but they both try and do the same thing where like you almost think he's about to get his shit together, and
Yeah.
he fucking doesn't.
Oh, I liked the rehab
Yeah,
arc.
the rehab was great.
I,
I hated
yeah.
his roommate. I hated I
Oh no! I
I
love.
hated the rap battle.
Do you know who that is?
No,
Do you know who he is? That's Lin Manuel Miranda, I think. Is his name? Let me search it up. Yeah, Lin Manuel Miranda. He's quite a big actor these days. He wrote Hamilton. You must have heard of Hamilton, right? The play.
vaguely.
Yeah, the hit Broadway musical. Yeah, he wrote.
I think the thing with hit Broadway musicals, I don't think there's ever anything new coming out. I just run the assumption that theater has kind of like been in a fucking lock since the 70s.
Yeah.
Like they kind of just came out like there was Shakespeare, someone made Cats, and they've just been like riding that cycle ever since. That's what I think theater is.
The only real theater. I've went to two theater productions. One of them was one man Star Wars with a fat man dressed as Luke Skywalker, who reenacted the Star Wars the original trilogy as like a single guy, and just made a lot of sound effects and like um on a stage. I loved it because I was 6.
Dude, Star Wars
And
and
yeah. I like literally. Oh my god, he's literally me. Um, and the other one was my mother took me when we were in London for one of the first time. She wanted to see something called The Crucible. There was a production of The Crucible, which is yet one of those plays that's famous and is always one thing. And the actor playing, I don't know, the main cunt in it was Richard Armitage, who is
Well, have
I just want to confirm before I say it, but he's Thorin in the Hobbit films. Um, if you watch them, I don't know if you watch them.
not really. Oh wait, yes, I have.
Yeah, he's Thorin Oakenshield. Um,
I forget which one that
he's
is.
also apparently Naboo fighter pilot in Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace.
See that I
Um,
recognize.
I think as he had. But mainly, I think my mother just had a crush on him and wanted to watch the play, and so I was dragged along to it.
I mean,
And it was
he is
good,
a very handsome
but
man.
yeah, he is indeed. But yeah, I got to talk to him after the thing, and it was like, to me, he's just the dwarf from The Hobbit. So I was kind of like, it's like I'm meeting somebody who's apparently famous, but I don't really know what for.
It's
I'd
like all
imagine it's
those.
like you meeting Tom Brady or
Yeah,
something
well,
like.
it's like all those fucking like posts you see, and there's so many of them to the point that I'm never sure like which of them are real. But
Mhm.
I guess it's kind of topical now. It's like there's so many posts heard like seen where it's like when I was 6 years old, I apparently met Meatloaf. Meatloaf, rest in
Right.
peace.
Yeah.
There's just so many of them. Like it's almost that point of like those stories about Bill Murray. I don't know.
Oh yeah, of him just appearing at
Yeah,
places and
especially
shit.
when he gets those moments where it's like, yeah, no one's ever gonna believe you, and then he just like gets on with his life. Thing is, I'd believe that with Bill Murray,
Mm.
but yeah, there's just a lot of stories I hear about like yeah, people like Meatloaf and like, oh yeah, apparently I met Meatloaf when I was 6. I didn't know it.
Mm.
Like like my parents took me in an airplane when I was 6 years old, and I sat next to this old guy, and like the attendant kept asking if I was bothering him, and he's like, no, it's fine. And apparently it wasn't until 15 years later I found out it was fucking Meatloaf.
I mean, I had something like that where I thought I was told I met someone as a kid and I just never met. Um, it was I wanted to meet them as a kid, and so my dad just said that I did. uh, yeah, and so no, it's honestly terrible because I have this like implanted memory now, this backfilled memory of meeting. If you're interested, I apparently met Alan Shearer.
I
And apparently, no, I never did.
I
I
feel
never
like I
did.
remember that name.
Yeah, he's like Newcastle's top goal scorer.
Uh no, I thought he was
And
gonna be like a UK comedian or something.
Alan Carr might be thinking of.
That's kind of probably where I was going with it, but then I also thought there
Yeah,
might be another fucking Alan.
but
I
no,
hate Alan
like
Carr
I
though.
mean, Alan.
Fucking ugh.
Basically, Alan Shearer was there, but I never met him. He was just talking, and it's like if I met him, then 1,000 other people met him. Then that was it. But um, yeah, apparently I was just saying to my dad like, why didn't I talk to Alan Shearer? And my dad was like, no, you did talk to him. I was like, oh, did I? Oh, cool. Like it took me like 10 years later to like, no, I didn't. I just didn't. So, um, yeah, I'm really sorry. I'll be back in a minute. I've got to take a fat piss. Um,
That's cool.
Please forgive me. All right, be right back. Hello.
You came back just in time for me to not get distracted.
I I've been sitting down this past like hour and something, so I've been fine. I muted myself, went up to go to the toilet, and was definitely like, oh, okay, yes, I have drunk alcohol.
It do be like
Uh,
that.
I really do. Um, but yeah, enough distraction about celebrities. Let's go back to the House, the important topic. Um,
Yeah. Anything you want to say on the ending?
uh, you successfully semi bamboozled me. I'll give you that.
Yeah, there was a.
Um,
The laughing was real. It was a matter of just like, fuck, how do I not actually spoil this? And it's like, oh yeah, I'll say he
yeah,
does fake his death somewhere else.
yeah. No, I mean that's the thing. You were absolutely right, and I'll be honest. I was waiting for it in the like season 7, season 8. I was like, this hasn't happened. Um, yet. So where is it? Like, and the final episode, and as soon as like Kuttner and there was like the shots of like the fire appear, I was like, I got it. Like I was able to piece it together. Pretty much like the overall plot of the episode was he was faking to get out of the obligation he had. But yeah, like I say, you did you can take the dub on that. You did
You see, he
save.
did. It caught me off guard because I didn't have anyone laughing at me hysterically when I asked if he fakes his death at some point. But also, I was always sort of expecting there to eventually be some sort of like karmic justice. That
Mm,
eventually he was gonna bite off more than he could chew. And like there would be some inevitable fate. And I was actually expecting him to die.
I felt like on that I really liked the arc with the policeman who hated him. I didn't like the character, but I liked the arc because it was like every time House tried to get out of it, he was like just fucking put down. Like he fucked up. Um, but yeah, yeah, you're right. I can't relate because I did have that semi spoiler,
Yeah.
so
And for that I
I didn't go
apologize.
into a blind. No, it's. I mean, it was my thing of like being an avid fan of Sherlock Holmes. It was it was an offhanded comment, and I can't say if it was the other way around. I'm sure I would have done the exact same thing. It would have been very hard for me to cover it
It's
up
why
for.
I'm never gonna watch Sopranos. I can never be spoiled. But yeah,
Spoiler
I
alert: Tony's Italian.
ooh, oh,
Uh,
don't mention them in front of me. Ugh. Um,
but yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
but no, I guess I was ultimately expecting there to be him to either to some extent repent or like be damned.
I think he is in a. I mean, he is in a sense. Like he can never return. Like he's dead.
He's gonna fuck off to Mexico and just like do whatever the fuck he wants, probably.
Sure, but again, like return being the key thing. Like he did make that sacrifice. I mean, I personally believe that he's gonna help. Do that thing for 13. He's gonna kill her. Um, but you know, uh,
It's
yeah.
it's an interesting one. Not really.
I did love the fucking scene where like Wilson's and full on fuck. Uh, he's in chemo. I nearly said ketosis. Sorry. Not in ketosis. He's in chemo, and he gets back to the office and he goes on his thing and he finds a house hide a bunch of prostitutes like kiss him and shit while he's like fucking literally fighting for his life. um, but yes, I based on last pod episode, I'm happy to be the Wilson to your house.
Based.
Uh,
Just don't get cancer, please.
all right,
Like,
I'll try, my dude.
like, yeah, I'm not keen to fake my own death yet. Especially if we're gonna go fucking ride around the UK. Like, riding around the UK is a weekend trip tops.
Yeah, fair enough. Um,
Especially if we're going to avoid Wales.
uh, but yeah, it was it's one of those shows that it's like I don't know why I got so into it because I got really into it. Like, I mean, I was sort of joking with all the fuck you, Sleepy. This is how you binge watch a show, but I don't normally watch a show that much that intensely. And it's like when I think about it objectively compared to the other shows that I really love, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Band of Brothers, shit like that. Like this is procedural. It's formulaic. It doesn't fit in with those. So why the fuck was I obsessed with watching it? And literally, like, I couldn't do anything else. I was lying in bed, trying to go to sleep with my eyes open, just being like unironically, like, yes, I really need Chase to get the answer wrong again. Like, I can't go to sleep if I don't watch another episode. Yeah, so I don't know. I still don't know how, like, why I was so invested in this very formulaic show, but I was. That I cannot deny. Um. Uh, so yes, I'm reminded of that picture you posted of free thinkers when they see house.
Yes, it was
YouTube
literally made
clips.
in response.
Yes. OMG, he's literally me. Um.
Yes, I ain't no Gosling. I'm a Hugh fucking Laurie. Except that I can't play piano, and I actually don't really like jazz music all that much.
um. Fuck, but yeah. Female power rankings. I put Prison Girl top, then Olivia Wilde tied with House's ex-wife purely on looks. Then I put Cameron. Then I put the other two because who gives a fuck? I guess Cuddy should be there somewhere. I don't know. She's below Stacy, so
Who the fuck's Stacy?
House's
Oh, right.
ex-wife. I'm not saying I liked her as a character, but she got that MILF energy.
I
Um,
honestly preferred Cuddy's mouth energy.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't, but maybe that was because of House saying everything I could possibly think of to Goody every episode. Like, there's only so many. Like, legit, there's only so many times. Like, um, Yeah, controversial opinion. House is a cunt. Like,
That's a hot fucking take right there.
I know. That's literally the entire point of the show. But like, um, fuck, there is a limit. You know, there's only so many. Your ass is fat. Haha, blow me. Haha, you are black man. Haha, you are woman. Haha, you are dying. Haha, you are Australian. Like, there's only so much I can take
You are literally
before.
English. Unironically
Mm.
as well.
um,
Uh,
but yeah, it's definitely a show I would not recommend to people, but it's a show I liked nonetheless.
I know that feeling
Um,
very well. I had the same problem
no,
with ReZero. It's
they
the anime. The one with
yeah.
the maid girl that I have in the jar of beans. That's I've
Yeah,
hang
yeah.
on. Here it is. You know the amazing thing about
Ah,
this
yes.
jar of beans? It
What?
still doesn't. It's
Tell me.
not like moldy or anything.
Is it Sergio?
Yeah, I know it's great. However, I think it's separated a lot, and it's like very watery at the top.
Uh,
Like I think I
uh,
think there's like beans, and then like tomato solid, and then there's just like
mm,
water.
mm,
It's
I mean, props to you for keeping that in the house, I guess.
yeah, it just sits under my desk. In fact, I actually have like two more Rem figurines coming.
Oh, damn it.
I'm not putting those ones in jars. There was like this well, I showed them like around my birthday actually, because like Totally Not Amazon gave me a discount code. Except I didn't use it to get that, but like a few days ago they're having a sale on like weeb shit. So it was
Yeah.
like $10 off something that already costed fuck all. So I got a couple more Rem figurines because they're the only good ones that they stock. Like the rest of it's all
Mm.
fucking Demon Slayer and Dragon Ball and Naruto, and I don't care.
Yeah. Hey, don't slag off Demon
But
Slayer.
yeah, they got like there's like a dog girl made Rem, and then a what they call like a gothic version, and it's basically Rem wearing 2B's outfit.
Well, like Gothic Lolita, something like that.
What? No, no,
Gothic Lolita.
no. Again, it's basically 2B's outfit, but Rem's wearing it.
To be or not to be? That is the
No,
question.
it's 2B. Fucking idiot.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, house talk over.
Yeah. No! I need 10 more minutes to talk about Foreman.
Oh
No!
no, I
Um,
mean, as far as like my favorite episode, I didn't get to say that. Probably the entire arc of Chase killing a motherfucker.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like Chase, honestly. Like, Chase was one of those guys at the start. Like, house talk over, literally not over. Literally straight back to house. Um, um, Chase was the character who grew on me the most. Like, Wilson was the character who I loved the most throughout. Chase, I didn't massively like him at the start, but by the end, yeah, I really liked him. Um,
I would agree. Chase is a very nice Australian lad.
I do love his arc from just turning into like simp to just fuck boy. Like, you know, yes, like the Virgin. Yes, I'm going to remind you every Tuesday that I like you, and please go out with me to the Chad. Yes, I fuck everyone I see. Like,
Uh,
and photoshopped a tiny dick on me in response, and then I fuck her. Like, Actually, that's not true.
Uh,
Sorry, he fucks the first chick, but
the speed dating one was pretty funny.
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's lots of those good little
So what do you do? I play
scenes.
games like professionally. I wish.
Still gets the most.
I
Yeah,
guess it was crazy in the sense that like this was back when like MLG basically wasn't a fucking thing.
yeah.
So
Um, but yeah, I like Chase, and I mean Foreman had good moments, but he's just too thing. But I will defend my boy Tall. Like of sort of I found Taub relative to the amount of seasons he had to be like the most interesting character. Of like he's spineless, but also probably the guy who stands up to House the most, but also has a fucked personal life, but also knows what he wants. Like it's, I just find him to be quite a compelling character. Um, I don't think he's like a great person, but um, I think the only reason Wilson seems like a great person is because he's like in relation to House. He's a compassionate person, but he'll be the first to admit that he fucks up a lot, but he's just best friends with the colossal fuck up. So, um, okay, I'm fine calling the house chat here.
I'm honestly I
If you
think
want to
I'm
clap,
fine calling the podcast. We're
really?
like an hour and a
Okay.
half in. So spoilers, there is no thing after that. Honestly, the part of me is just saying that this will make it easier for editing. I don't need to say like, "Oh, House Talk is over." It's just the end of the podcast.
Oh shit. Okay, man. It's like the one time where I wasn't feeling the end. I was like, I could keep talking for
I
ages,
mean, do
but
you
that's
have
probably
anything
just the
else to talk
alcohol
about?
talking.
Like, if you've got stuff to go
Uh,
on, like, I'll keep talking. Cause
no,
well, I
no,
mean,
I got my.
what?
I took like a week off. This is a quick thing, don't worry. Like I took like a week off this past week because I had this whole saga with getting my passport in time, and my passport got printed, and it was like secure delivery. So if I wasn't in the house, it wouldn't come, right?
Mm,
So I had to be in because I need my passport for everything, and I don't have legal ID because I had to send off all my legal ID. Um, to get my fucking passport. So I've took the week off just being in the house. I do like online classes, and yesterday evening I just hear the so I apparently have to explain it because this isn't common in American houses. But do you have like a post slot in your door,
no,
like a little flap?
because
Well,
I
we
don't
do.
live in a like.
I mean, like in houses, sorry, in like proper like
No,
houses, like a post flap.
we have a letterbox.
Yeah, so we don't have letterboxes. We have these little flaps in the door, and I heard that go, and I went, and this secure passport that needed my signature and shit for tracking. No, just came through the door. So I got it. I'm one of the first people to get um the new passport, the blue passport. That's doesn't have European Union on it. And
Nice.
I think I told the story about getting my picture taken where it was like outside of the women's bathroom in the student unions building with like my friend holding the phone to take my picture and his phone with the flashlight and two other friends on either side of me with their flashlights on to like counteract like the shadow and stuff so my picture is scuffed as shit. Um, but yeah, I have my passport and I got my email from my Japanese university and just in time, so I'm not going to be ritually disemboweled by my Japanese teacher. And uh, yeah, it's cool. It's a sexy blue passport.
And it
Yeah,
doesn't say
I
European
that's
Union on it.
it does not.
Truly
It does
the
not.
best outcome.
Wait, just for the pod notes, I'll post a pic of it in the podcast channel. I'm not saying you should put it on, but just because I've got it. Oh, I took Misha to the vet
Oh right.
as well.
I forget who's because I'm kind of low key keeping track of like 4 sick cats.
Well, I feel so bad for Fox. Oh, but, you know. Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, what I was gonna say was like, because I've basically done nothing this past week except play fucking Mario and Battle Brothers.
Oh, you've been playing Battle Brothers, yeah. Shit.
Although
Forgot
playing is
about that.
relative. I've been cheating.
Now, how have you been cheating?
I downloaded a mod that lets me like edit my characters, so I can give them like good
Uh,
stats.
yeah, yeah.
And it turns out like when you have a 95% chance to not get hit, um, and a 95% chance to hit, game gets really easy.
Listen, I'm one of those people who like. I mean, fuck it. I'll just say it. I'm drunk enough to say the part you shouldn't say out loud. That fuck. I enjoy power fantasy shit. You know, like you know, when I play a game, the first time I play it, I want to play it legit. But fuck, like I feel like I only owe the game one playthrough legitimately. After that, fuck it. Like my default state is having like Paradox games on debug mode. Like, sure, I'll try and play legit every so often, but to me, I much prefer just being an ultra sigma Jewish Chad who can just immediately add money, you know? And
And
yeah, fuck it.
simultaneously
So
counteract the inflation.
yeah, so I like. There's going to be plenty of people who judge you for that.
Uh,
I'm not one of
like
them,
I don't
but
really give a
like
shit. It's
that's
like I enjoy
that's
playing the
the yeah.
game. It's kind of the same issue I have with Noita, where
Mm,
it's like there's so much beyond like the normal scope of things that I'm pretty much never otherwise going to be able to experience.
yeah, if you don't,
Because like even good players of these games need a lot of like RNG for like good
Mm,
situations to get to a point where they can even think about trying to look into these like post end game quests or whatever.
yeah,
So it's like either I can spend the next 300 hours smacking my head against a brick wall trying to get myself to a level where I can try and find these legitimately, or I can just go see what they fucking are.
mm.
And yeah, like it's not like I've teleported around and just done stuff. Like the game is the game's still experienced normally, except for the part where my characters are good enough that they just don't die.
Yeah. Like I mean, it's one of those things where. Sorry, I might be interrupting you.
No, go
I
for it.
don't want to cut you off. Um, it's one of those things where it's why I often I post about the stuff in Biko because if I'm playing a game solo, like if I'm playing a game like Battle Brothers solo, and I have a bunch of people dying, like every fucking thing, it's not that compelling to me. But when I play Battle Brothers, I call my outfit Biko. I name every person after somebody in the server. And then it's like, oh, if I lose a battle brother, it's not like, oh fuck, this is so bad. I don't like it. And I'm making fun of myself, but that is legitimately how I feel. It's like, haha, NASA got his head caved in. I'm going to art NASA now. Like, haha, like Sleepy died again. Like, it turns it so I can play it in a interesting, novel context and keep sort of keep real with it. But yeah, like I'm with you in with certain games that I don't want that to happen. But yeah, a lot of people get very defensive about it, and very sort of no, you must play with like the utmost difficulty and shit. And I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
like even playing on beginner, I get my shit kicked in.
Mm, like it's just like I hate like I'm not one of those people who thinks like Dark Souls should have different difficulties, but I'm definitely like okay, I don't think that, but also I'm not somebody who likes games like Dark Souls for fun. I just don't like that. Like I'm fine playing games legit, but I also if I own a fucking game and if it's single player, of course, not multiplayer. Like people who cheat on multiplayer games are scum. But like single player, fuck. Like if I want to add myself gold, if I want to make myself super handsome, like in Crusader Kings, or if I want to give myself a bunch of money so I can build this perfect city in like Sim City or whatever, like fuck you, it's my game. I can do what I want. You know. Ugh.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, Battle Brother has a lot of fun stuff that I would otherwise never be able to see.
Yeah. I never got too far in it. I get fucked up by those not Nazgul. The guys in the dreams, those
The
ones who
Alps,
when you hit them, yeah, fuck them.
I've only
Fuck them so
faced
hard.
them once, and that was during my legit run, or one of my legit
Ooh.
runs. And I beat them. I didn't lose anyone either. It was certainly an interesting
Yeah, I
fight
know.
though.
Oh, I beat them, but I definitely I lost like 5 people. You're a better gamer than me.
I've also only ever faced Necro Savants once legit, and that was not a fun time. It's fuck it.
Those ones that like respawn guys.
No, the Necro Savants are the vampire ones that kind of like teleport around and
Oh, sorry, Necro
yeah.
Savants.
However,
Yeah, no, I get what
facing
you mean.
them with OP cheating squad, very easy. They walk up to you and then you bop them on the head and they fucking die. Well, you have to bop them on the head twice because they have 9 lives.
Mm,
The perk.
fuck, you got me wanting to play Battle Brothers now. Like shit. Um,
I will say the other. I
drop.
mean, do you want me to drop you the mod that makes it easy?
Yeah,
Uh, the,
yeah,
the
go
the
for
the
it.
thing that that's funny about it that has led to the situation is one of the kind of funny situations is it's obviously a lot of clicking through menus and shit to
Mm,
like stat up everyone, so you can kind of stat up one, give them like 3 stars in every skill, and then give them like 100 health and fatigue and what have you. I will say like
yeah, yeah,
basically just having 100 ranged and melee defense is all you really need to be OP as shit. But
yeah. I can imagine. Like, I've not cheated in Battle Brothers, but I've played a lot of it, so I am
I only played a couple. I
familiar.
only played a few dozen hours of it before I started cheating. But the thing is, you can like then export a maxed out character into like a string of fucking text and shit, and then import that onto every other character you have. Thing is, it kind of
Right.
transfers pretty much everything. So that includes their name, their tier, their like background, and all that.
Right. Right.
Kind of the things that I wanted to keep random, but ended up not doing it. So I have a. I don't know. I chose the peasant start for the cheating because it lets you have like 16 on the field, which
Yeah. Yeah.
feels really helpful. So I have
Really OP, you
I
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I have 16 farm hands called Ragnar, and they're all got red hair, so it's literally an army of Ragnar the Red. which I found mildly amusing because epic Skyrim reference.
Mm. um, try naming them after like people on the server. You know,
Oh, not if
so
I'm
this always
cheating.
fun. Yeah, no, I don't mean on like a cheat.
But yeah, like I mean, I did
Yeah,
that first time around. Well, like when I was streaming it when I first started playing. But it kind of does get discouraging for me in the sense of just like watching like the OGs die. Like once
yeah.
one of them carks, it's like, oh, I actually don't want to fucking play anymore.
No, I feel that in a normal play. I found that like being able, like what I was saying before was like I found being able to name them and then like being able to at the person or like just talk about it made it more like an event than like a game. If they all had the default names, I would feel the exact same.
Oh, no,
But it's
even
like, haha, it's funny that Sleepy has died because it's Sleepy. Haha.
well, see,
Like,
I don't want
I
Sleepy
don't
to die
know.
because Sleepy always ends up being my sergeant.
Manlet's always my sergeant.
Uh,
Um,
I guess we're gonna have a schism here. People who have Manlet as sergeants and people who have Sleepy as sergeants.
choose wisely, white man. um, listen, I'm fine calling it here, but I'm just gonna like at this point I may as well just go to Bleak Falls Sparrow. So it's up to you when you just want to end the pod and just move to Bleak Falls.
I will say yeah, thanks for coming, everyone.
Yes, thank you all.
Obviously it's short enough, but I think that leaves enough. I'll be able to just find when we stop talking about House.
Oh fuck, we've no. Did we not clap again?
No,
Oh okay.
but
Okay.
like, that's fine. Bye.
See you
Thanks for
guys.
coming. Link in the description below. Uh,
Hmm.
wee.